Thank you for your silence. We join in other Unitarian Universalists in the tradition of striking the gong 3 times, once in honor of those who have come before, once for those that are here with us in the present moment, and once for those who will be our future.
And we're going to begin this morning with song. So I invite you to join in Rise in Body or in Spirit, and join us in singing hymn number 354, We Laugh, We Cry.
Gift to believe that is within our
Welcome and good morning on this Sunday, the 8th, 2024. I am Lily Weiser, your service leader today. Welcome to the Umpqua Unitarian Universalist Congregation, a place where you can be yourself, but not by yourself. Whomever you are, whoever you love, however you describe yourself, or name the holy, you are welcome here. We take time to appreciate those of you who are now joining us today, and those of you who are well-versed in the UUUC, as well as those who are online viewing through live stream. Thank you for being here with us today. Please take time after the service and join us in coffee, tea, and conversation. Announcements are in your order of service along with upcoming events. There is a Curtin Sacred Heart Chant concert on Thursday, September 12th at 7 p.m. right here at the UUUC. I was asked for Susan to give us a word.
Do you want me to go up there? Oh, okay. Thank you. There's going to be a kirtan sacred chant. Oh, I'm sorry. There's going to be a kirtan sacred chant on this Thursday at 7 p.m. here. And this is the Open Heart Sangha Band with Kavita Kat McMillan, who is one of the leading kirtan singers of the Pacific Northwest. And it is a participatory event. It's a call and response style of singing, and everybody is encouraged to participate, and it's very fun. What she and her band does is really absolutely gorgeous. You will love it. It's very uplifting and inspiring, so please do come. And this is the flyer, and in your program, it says the information here on the insert here, the Kirtan Sacred Heart Chant concert this Thursday, so you have it there in your program. So thank you.
And I was also told that Donna needs to make an announcement.
Good morning, everyone. 2 weeks ago, Lillian asked me to give you information about supporting Glennis, and I was clueless. And later, I found out that she did indeed do that. Unfortunately, it was after I'd had a jalapeno margarita, so I could not remember that. So today, as your accountant, I just want to lead you through the process. Glennis has had heart surgery, and when she recovers, she's going to have hip replacement. So that means she's not going to be working for a while. So if you would like to support her, just put your check in the offering basket, but please put Glennis's name on it. If you're giving cash, put it in a little envelope and put her name on it. And I will make sure she gets all of those donations. And so on behalf of Glennis, thank you very much for supporting her as a caring and supporting religious and spiritual community. That's what we do. So thank you very much.
As well as that, there is a positive open mic on Wednesday this week. It's every second Wednesday of the month, and it's by Sean Shea and Susie. I find it very fun, so you should join. It's at 6:30? Okay, starts at 6:30, ends at 8? Yes, okay. We now move to our fish collection, a collection of food and money that goes to people without homes, without food, and without peace of mind. Fish is a combined effort of several Roseburg churches. Our church offertory is later in the service.
Thank you for your generosity. And I just have to add, if I was local and it wasn't an hour and 7 minutes when I drive the speed limit, sometimes less, from my house to here, I'd be here Wednesday and Thursday evening. Such is the power of song. I'd like to invite us to move into a deeper spirit of worship with these words often shared at my home congregation by my mentor minister, Carolyn Colbert. We are loving and caring beings, yet sometimes we forget. We come together in church to remember. May we remember together. And now we have some words to light our chalice, as is the tradition of our faith. Our chalice lighting words are from Penny Hackett, who's a writer and lay leader in a congregation in Illinois. So, here we go. Each of us brings a separate truth here.
We bring the truth of our own lives, our own story. We don't come as empty vessels, but as full people, each with our own story and our own truth.
We seek to add our truths and add to our stories. This room is rich with truth, is rich with experience, with truth.
All manner of people are here, needy, joyful, frightened, anxious, bored.
And we all bring our truths with us.
May we recognize the truth of the story and the truth of and the story in our own other and the story in other lives than our own. May we hear and honor the truths that we bring as we gather together.
Together we have truths.
Together we have a story.
Together we are a community. Thank you, Lily. I have a story to share, and it will come as no surprise to some of you that I have returned to my favorite theologian and children's book author and illustrator, Leo Leone. When I made a decision that this was just the right story for this morning, I kind of racked my brain and went, in the 5 years or so that I've been coming here, have I shared this story? And I thought, yeah, probably. But you know, some things are worth repeating. We sing hymns that we've sung before, right? So I want to share a story that I may have shared before, and I acknowledge that possibility. Swimming by Leo Leone. Martha's nodding. I don't know if she's nodding because she loves the story or knows I've read it. So either way, here comes Swimming, Leo Leone. A happy school of fish lived in the corner of the sea somewhere. They were all red. Only one of them was black as a mussel shell. He swam faster than his brothers and sister. His name was Swimmy. Uh-oh. One day, a tuna fish, swift, fierce, and very hungry, came darting through the waves. In one gulp, he swallowed all the little red fish. Only Swimmy escaped. He swam away in the deep, wet world. He was scared, lonely, and very sad. But the sea was full of wonderful creatures, and as he swam from marvel to marvel, Swimmy was happy again. He saw a Medusa made of rainbow jelly. A lobster who walked about like a water-moving machine. strange fish pulled by an invisible thread. And a forest of seaweeds growing from sugar candy rocks. And an eel whose tail was almost too far away to remember. And sea anemones who looked like pink palm trees swaying in the wind. Then, hidden in the dark shade of rocks and weeds, he saw a school of little fish just like his own. "Let's go swim and play and see things," he said happily. "We can't," said the little red fish. "The big fish will eat us all up." "But you can't just lie there," Swimmy said. "We must think of something." Swimmy thought and thought and thought. Then suddenly he said, "I have it. We're going to swim together like the biggest fish in the sea." So he taught them to swim close together, each in their own place. And when they had learned to swim together like one giant fish, he said, "I'll be the eye." And so they swam in the calm morning water and the midday sun. And they chased the big fish away. A lesson about community worth repeating. And now we'll sing our kids out to some program downstairs. Joys and sorrows.
Now we move to the joys and sorrows part of the service. We encourage those who feel compelled to please light a candle for any of those joys or sorrows aching in your heart or mind. If you wish to light a candle, please line up to my right. And if you wish to speak, please give your name and please be brief. now have our offering. This is Unitarian Universalist community. This Unitarian Universalist community is supported by the voluntary generosity of all who join us. Your support fuels this community and is what keeps its mission going. Thank you. For these gifts we have received, may we be truly grateful. May we be committed to using these gifts to make a difference in the world and expanding our beloved community.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. All right, this is a sing-along. Somos el barco, which means we are the boat. Some of you may remember this from like the 60s or 70s. Or here. And there's also a part toward the end where we're going to do a little instrumental part. And you guys have instruments with you, right? You all brought your instruments? Here we go. Oh, did you bring them? Oh, don't worry about it. You have your clappers, right? Okay. So this is highly improvisational because there's no wrong notes. So make it up as you go. And you can kind of follow Susie because she's doing some kind of percussion stuff there too. Okay. We'll give you a heads up when it's time to do that. Somos el barco, somos el mar, yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the moon, we are the sea, I sail in you, you sail in me. The stream sings it to the river sings it to the sea sings it to the boat that carries you and me. Somos el barco, somos el mar, yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the moon, we are the sea, I sail in you, you sail in me. Oh, the boat we are sailing in was built by many hands, and the sea so deep and wide it touches every sand. Somos el barco, somos el mar. Yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you sail in me. Oh, the voyage has been long and hard, yet we're sailing still. We pull through every storm, and I believe we always will. Somos el barco, somos el mar. Yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you sail in me. Here's your chance. Clap. Bum, 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 so with our hopes, we raise the sails to face the wind once more. And with our hearts, we chart the waters never sailed before. Somos el barco, somos el mar. Yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you sail in me. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you sail in me. Thank you so much. I would
Thank you,
say that
Sean.
went swimmingly.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Susie. And thank you to all us of our percussionists and vocalists. I invite you now to settle in a little more deeply. This particular song, when Sean and I communicated, I think speaks much about our shared journey. And as part of that journey, I invite you to join me in a simple Buddhist metta prayer. I'm going to do it as a call and response. I invite you to sit and settle into a way that feels comfortable for you, that allows the breath to flow more fully. Some suggest that straight back and soft belly can help with the breath. But do what's comfortable for you. And I'll say a phrase, and I invite you to say it back to me. But first, I want to invite the chime. We're not going to do any music after this one, Sean. I think we're just going to do words and silence. Thank you, though, for the gifts you bring. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be whole. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be whole. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be well. May all be filled with loving kindness. May all be well. May all be filled with loving kindness. May all be well. May all be peaceful and at ease. May all be whole. May all be peaceful and at ease. May all be whole. Now I invite you to just breathe together for a brief time of shared silence. I want you to take just a cleansing breath in and out as we return to the other elements of the service. And I've invited Lily to share a reading with me this morning. It's from Walt Whitman's poem, Song of the Open Road. And Song of the Open Road is a long poem, and we're going to read an excerpt. I'm going to reference it back a little bit in the sermon. But what I discovered when I re-encountered this poem this week, it's worth a read again and again. So I invite you to take some time this week. Whitman's Song of the Open Road. We'll share a bit as our reading. Afoot and light-hearted, I take to the open road, healthy, free, the world before me, the long brown path before me, leading wherever I choose.
Henceforth I ask not good fortune, I myself am good fortune. Henceforth I whimper no more, postpone no more, need nothing. Strong and content, I travel the open road.
I inhale the great draughts of space. The east and west are mine, and the north and south are mine. I'm larger, better than I thought. I did not know I held so much goodness.
All seems beautiful to me. I can repeat over to men and women, you have done such good to me. I would do the same to you.
Whoever you are, come travel with me. However sweet those laid-up stores, however convenient this dwelling, we cannot remain here.
However sheltered this port, and however calm these waters, we must not anchor here.
Together, the inducements will be greater. We will sail pathless in wild seas.
We will go where wind blows, waves dash, and the Yankee clippers speed by under full sail.
Forward after the great companions, and to belong to them, they too are on the road.
Onward to that which is endless, as it was beginningless, to undergo much tramps of days, rests of nights.
To see nothing anywhere but what you may reach it and pass it. To conceive no time, however distant, but what you may reach it and pass it. To look or bear down no road, but it stretches and waits for you, however long, but it stretches and waits for you.
To know the universe itself as a road, as many roads, as roads for traveling souls.
Thank you. To know the universe itself as a road, as many roads, as roads for traveling souls. Earlier this month, I attended a webinar at the Eugene Church, my home church, which is part of a visioning process that community is engaged in. The goal is to better map out what direction that community may choose to travel. And they had the funds and resources to bring in a consulting firm to help with that process, headed by Reverend Cameron Mitchell. And she's the consultant, and they began that presentation with a slide and a story about a centrifuge. Yeah, a centrifuge, which is the device used in research and in medicine to spin materials rapidly to separate them into their components and sometimes even their elements. One of the most common uses of such a device is to separate white and red blood cells and other blood components as part of a blood test, to look at the separate pieces. The presenter borrowed the metaphor of the centrifuge for what happens all too frequently in our high-speed culture from the writer and community process consultant Margaret Wheatley. Kimball and Wheatley lift up the notion that in our all too often fast-paced modern lives, our accelerated actions can lead to separation. We can move and spin around from project to project, task to task, and person to person so quickly that we can create kind of a centrifuge where intentions and impacts, goals and actions, values and processes become separate. They can become separated in our minds, and even more significantly, people become separated from each other and from the interconnected world of all existence of which we know we are a part. A part, not a part. Important but subtle distinction in language. Reverend Cameron went on to suggest that we are in a time when what she called the relational fabric of our community has been damaged. And we need to develop a new technology for our time, and I would add, embrace many fully existing technologies that would help us answer the question of how we want to be now. How might we be more connected, or maybe simply be less separated? What are the things we might do differently that increase and enhance connection and spiritual engagement? She offered a model that calls for alignment of various basic human needs. To be in alignment, to be in harmony within and beyond, we need to meet these needs. Psychological needs, financial or subsistence needs, physical needs, and spiritual needs. Churches and other faith communities clearly focus on how our spiritual needs can best be met and how that occurs for us as individuals within a community and for a collective community in a balanced way. The session set me to thinking beyond visioning about the processes of any one church to broader human questions of how we might want to be in these times. How we might want to travel a path to deeper connection to spirit and to each other. This is increasingly challenges in these times when that accelerated pace of so much of life would separate us from one another and from the core of our existence. A song lyric comes to mind. Slow down, you move too fast. Got to make the morning last. I know that, and yet morning after morning, my routine in the garden and with the dog and watering plants that I do every day, I find myself accelerating in order to get back into the house to begin doing all the things I feel I must do that day. It's not easy to let the morning lapse. Cameron suggests it's a process of determining how one might engage with more vitality rather than more acceleration. I found her word choice intriguing, more vitality rather than more acceleration. I would describe it as seeking to do what I do with greater depth. The teacher Thich Nhat Hanh would call it being more mindful of what we're doing. How might I be, as Whitman described it, how might I better know the universe itself as a road, as many roads, as roads for traveling souls? How might I and you and all be more fully present right now in any given precious moment, or in the sacred interactions we have with one another? Many of you know, or you may have noticed, that one of the bumper stickers on the back of my car reads, "We are here to awaken from the illusion of our separateness." It's a quote from the Buddhist teacher Thich Nhat Hanh. My wife Suzanne is the one who put it there, but it's a sentiment that I fully share with her as an aspiration to be what I call more woke when it comes to waking from that illusion. I don't know why people are opposed to being awake. As expressed in our Unitarian Universalist principles, it would be described as an affirmation to our intention to affirm and promote respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. We are unique and independent individuals as well as connected, and we're part of something larger than ourselves. Such a deep sense of connection in no way takes away from our individuality and our personal autonomy. We're both individuals with inherent worth and dignity and part of larger entities, families and clans, groups and communities, congregations, and a larger faith tradition. We're part of all of that, and like Swimmy and the fish in our story, we gain value from our times alone, in solitude, and from what we can be together. As I've said here many mornings, as is said here many mornings, I'm not the person to typically say as others do. This is a place where we can be ourselves, but not by ourselves. Here we are on a shared journey, a journey of exploration and wonderment. The Quimper Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, where I serve my ministerial intern, has a mission statement that reads, "We are travelers. We meet for a moment in this sacred place to love, to share, to serve. Let us use compassion, curiosity, reverence, and respect while we seek our truths. In this way, we will support a just and joyful community, and this moment shall endure." We are travelers. Whitman told us that. The mission statement tells us that. Swimmy tells us that. Our own life experience tells us that truth. We are travelers. Whitman uses the metaphor of travel and invite to join him on a road, the open road. He acknowledges that the journey he invites us on is not merely a geographical journey, but rather a deeply spiritual journey. Sometimes such journey, a journey of deepening and pilgrimage, is within. Camus advised, in order to understand the world, we must turn away from it on occasion. And there are places that can facilitate such a turning away, to journey with more inward vitality. For me, riversides and beaches and shorelines, those places where the water meets the land, offer the settings most conducive to that kind of a journey. For others, the place may be the desert or a prairie, or being out on the water itself might be your best place. For me, being surrounded by for others, being surrounded by human-constructed sanctuaries like ancient cathedrals and temples, or simply being surrounded by ancient walls can be profoundly spiritual. And art can offer a path towards inner connection. When I visited the Angeret Museum in Paris, which is where the massive water lily paintings are, it was a profoundly spiritual experience, enhanced by the fact that I walked in there and dropped to my knees on my own in solitude. Sometimes music or chant, kirtan is a profound example, or dance and movement can bear we go to find more vitality. And sometimes I do go deeper alone. I remember years ago, it's more than a decade ago now. It's a number of years ago, I took a solo hike around Waldo Lake. This was before the more recent fires. And when I woke up my first night of camping partway around, the weather was awful. It was a mixture of rain and snow with a soft wind, and I determined there was no way I wanted to camp in that weather. So I decided I was going to take what had intended to be a 2-day hike in one day and hike all the way out. I had to quicken my pace, and the rain kept coming down. It finally stopped snowing, but I slogged on and on and on. And with each step, though tired and cold, I could feel myself moving more deeply within, where my relationship to a whole world and all existence became more basic. I knew I was a part of it all, and clearly not apart from it. Solitude, which is being alone because we choose to be alone, can be a great gift. The noted theologian of the last century, Paul Tillich, observed that language has created the word loneliness to express the pain of being alone. It can be painful. And it has created the word solitude to express the glory of being alone. Another 20th century theologian, Henry Nouwen, tells us that solitude is the furnace of transformation. Without solitude, we remain victims of our society and continue to be entangled in the illusions of false self. On that cold day, I could feel the warmth of that furnace of transformation moving within me. I noticed that when Swimmy was alone as he journeyed through the forests of seaweed, he fully saw the amazing things that were all around him. Solitude can offer us a way of deeper seeing and experience life fully. Other times, I find that being with others can deepen my sense of connection, my openness to experiencing with deep sense of awe and wonder, that deep sense of awe, that wonder that so deeply feeds my soul. I can sometimes do that better together. It was nearly a decade ago when I had the opportunity to set off on a kayak and meditation retreat in Southwest Alaska. And I spent hours each day in a dual kayak, a tandem, with dear friend and colleague Dwayne Fickelstein, the Reverend Dwayne Fickelstein. I went more deeply within, with Dwayne present, than I would have gone alone. And Dwayne reports the same was true for him. Paddling together, we moved through the water more smoothly, yet simply being silent together, we also went within more deeply. We experienced what in Buddhist thought is called the power of Sangha, the power of being together. Sangha, as I've shared here before, is a way of seeking together. And the power of Sangha is one of the primary refuges in Buddhism. It offers protection and a deep feeling of being fully present within community. Meditation in community is often deeper than it is in solitude. Whenever two or more are gathered, we can and often do go deeper. In our tradition, the power that some draw from Sangha might be experienced here in small groups or here together on a Sunday morning. I felt that collective power in my home church, at huge gatherings of thousands of Unitarian Universalists at General Assembly, at my UU camp each summer and over New Year's, and I have felt it here. Sometimes it merges by being with a couple of dozen of you in a congregational conversation, or when we sing together. There is something unique and nearly magical that happens when we seek harmony together. Actually, I want to rephrase that. There is something clearly magical when we sing together. Sometimes it has been there when I've been with just a couple of you sitting in meditation together. In my pondering and my seeking, I recently encountered an interview with the writer Margaret Wheatley and the Buddhist teacher Pema Chodron. Wheatley offered in that conversation that this culture has torn us apart from one another and only supported us in our individual quests for things that are not in themselves satisfying. We're coming to the end of that now. We're realizing how empty we are, and I think we have courage to understand how far we've drifted from who we are as human beings and realize we can learn again how to be together. I find it truly transformative that we start telling the truth, that when we start telling the truth to one another, including our mistakes, including our confusion, we summon something deeper in all of us anytime we speak together about the truth of our experience of being human. Pema Chodron replied, "This is what I would consider a spiritual journey, although it doesn't have to have any of the religious labels. When people are courageous enough to express their experience, their inspirations as well as their disappointment, their inspirations as well as their disappointment and failures, that's the basis of awakening, of spiritual awakening. Spiritual awakening. So we travel here on the open road together. I'd like to close my shared words this morning with more from Whitman's poem. All parts a way for the progress of souls. All religion, all solid things, arts, government, all that was or is apparent upon this globe or any globe falls into niches and corners before the procession of souls along the grand roads of the universe. Let the paper remain on the desk unwritten, and the book on the shelf unopened. Let the tools remain in the workshop, let the money remain unearned. Let the school stand, mind not the cry of the teacher. Let the preacher preach in his pulpit, let the lawyer plead in court, and let the judge expound the law. My companions, I give you my hand. I give you my love more precious than money. I give you myself before preaching or law. Will you give me yourself? Will you come travel with me? Shall we stick by each other as long as we live? Shall this community stick by each other? May it be so. May we make it so, alone sometimes and together. I invite just some brief moments of quiet reflection. And then, as is the tradition of this congregation, some may have words that are bubbling out that need release together. One of those congregational conversations and discussions after the sermon. JC's got a hand up there.
Thank you, Dennis, for a beautiful introduction to my sermon next week.
That's what I'm here for, right?
So,
Just
everybody,
I'm the warm-up band.
Yeah. So please remember all that he said today, and I won't say it again next week. I'll just.
But you could read Swimmy again. We already established that option.
Well, actually, that was a lovely story. And what Swimmy said, let's do it together. That maybe is where we need to be going. What are we doing together? But anyway, that's not what I'm talking about next week. The thing that gets in the way of anything that you were describing as happening, I think, can be, there seems to be a judgment when you change, that this is better than it was, not just that it is different, because things are different. So that's more about what I'm going to be talking next week.
Right.
But
Well,
that's
and
the idea. It's not wrong. What was before is not wrong. It's
right.
just different.
There's another poet who talks about when roads converge into wood, and we have to choose which path we're going to take. Absolutely. I will just add one little comment that came to mind to me when Robert Frost came to mind to me. My mentor minister in my internship in Port Townsend, Reverend Bruce Bodie, said he paid as much attention to contemporary poets as he did sacred literature, because sacred literature is the poetry of its time anyway. The poets and the saints are the ones that speak deep truth. Another comment there.
Yes, thank you. That was wonderful. It reminded me of Karen Drucker's song. We're all angels who only have one wing because we need each other to fly.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, that alone time that we have is very precious, because that if you can be alone with yourself, then you love yourself and can do that. But we learn through our relationships with others, and they're very, very important. So, yeah, it's all together, and that oneness is what we really need to remember is very important about all of us. So, thank you, Dennis.
All right. Well, I often describe myself as a both-andian. And for much of my life, I found solitude uncomfortable. And that has been a learning for me, to learn the difference between loneliness and solitude, and that I can choose to be alone, and that can open the pathway to deeper understanding sometimes. So I'm a both-andian. I need them both. So any other comments? Got one from Connie over there.
For me, one of the gifts of aging has been to experience more spiritual awakening.
Mm-hmm. No, I still echo with comments from a friend from the Eugene Church who described her 90th year as the most spiritually satisfying so far. And it's a nice aspiration to have all out there. And I will share another piece that I look at in my own attitudes about practice, both my spiritual practice and living into being the best self I want to be. Buddhism offers me the possibility of maybe more than one lifetime to get this right. And I think I'm going to need that. So I like hoping on to that that might be possible. That doesn't change the fact that I want to do what I can in the time I've got in this body. But I take a little bit of solace and comfort that just maybe there might be more. And that's part of why I'm a Unitarian Universalist and a Buddhist practitioner. So.
Thank you very much, Dennis. That sermon, your words were very, I think, poignant and to the point of community and self-realization, internal spiritual growth. And I feel deeply that this congregation is connected within our ability to be different and to accept those differences. And the challenges that do occur are challenges that occur in life all over. And I think going beyond those and knowing that we're on that open road and on that path together is the realization that I feel is of utmost importance on an individual basis as well as a community of spiritual people being together.
To which the preacher just simply says, amen. Okay. Okay. We got Marshawn. Okay.
Just, I found myself wanting to shout out, let's hear it for silence.
In its time, absolutely, in its time. And now unless we have more, Sean. Oh, we've got more. Sean, you can get ready to lead us in song, because then we're not going to have silence. We're going to sing. Let's hear it for music. But were there some other comments?
I just wanted to say spot on. Couldn't have been a more perfect sermon for what we need right now.
Okay.
All right, you all did such a phenomenal job with your percussionist ensemble that we brought you a little toy to play with, if you want.
Sean, do we have slides from this one, or do they need the hymnal?
This is going to be a hymnal experience for those
All
of
right,
you who
we're going old school. I invite you
Yep.
to turn to hymn number 311 in the hymnal. For those of you who need to look up what that is, that's "Let It Be a Dance."
And
It's one of those ones that I don't have to look up the number anymore, and I only need to check a few of the lyrics. So "Let It Be a Dance." The other one is 1, 2, 3, which is "Spirit of Life."
okay, and some of you may prefer to dance in your chairs, but generally you can move around a little bit better if you get up off
Please
your butt.
rise in body or in spirit.
And the aisle is available to anyone who really wants to just cut a rug and shake it a little bit.
Oh,
Last time, you guys, get up and
yeah, and I also want to insert one little piece before you and Susie and our percussionist gets going. It's a correction to keep in mind.
Yes.
When you get to the line in the final verse that reads, "Bear the pain," it's spelled B-E-A-R. The songwriter contends that should have been spelled B-A-R-E.
And he even deputed congregations to get out their pen and actually correct it. in the
Right.
hymnal. So,
I was at a congregation where we did it in pencil, but I have a hard time marking a book with pen. So, but bear that in mind, right? So it's a place where we can open all our feelings is the intention. But let's sing the whole song together.
let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you. In the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Let a dancing song be heard. Play the music, say the words, and fill the sky with sailing birds. Let it be a dance, let it be a dance, let it be a dance. Learn to follow, learn to lead. Feel the rhythm, feel the need. To reap the harvest, plant the seed. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Everybody turn and spin. Let your body learn to bend. It's like a willow with the wind. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. A child is born, the old must die. A time to joy, a time to cry. Take it as it passes by. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Morning star comes out at night. Without the dark there is no light. If nothing's wrong, then nothing's right. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let the sunshine, let it rain. Share the laughter, bear the pain. And round we go again. Let it be a dance. All right, very wonderful, thank you.
Please remain standing for our closing words of benediction. I'll take this one. I'm getting there. Our closing words of benediction are from Patricia Schutte. You and I and all of us blew about with the winds of summer.
Following the sun in different ways of freedom and play.
Now it's time for gathering in. We come together at this time and in this place on the bridge of autumn.
Summer is fading backward into memory and winter awaits in snow brilliance.
We meet with eagerness and delight, needing one another for sharing.
We have joys and sorrows and hopes to share, questions, things we care about and want to make better.
Things we would like to understand, ideas waiting to be heard.
Today, we are together in gladness once more in this special community we call church.
A community for all ages that sings its songs, tells its thoughts, asks its questions, and searches together with courage and love. Shalom, salam, amen, and blessed be.